Then came the update. Clark was cleared, available for Wednesday's game against the Golden State Valkyries. But here's the catch. She's limited to about 25 minutes. For a player who normally controls the entire game, that's a massive restriction. It means the Fever have to figure out how to win with a smaller version of their franchise player on the floor.
Looks like the Indiana Fever are up to their usual scammy, shady, shiesty tricks. Looks like Caitlin Clark gonna be playing today, but Aaliyah Boston won't be playing today. Aaliyah Boston will be playing tomorrow, but Caitlin Clark won't be playing tomorrow. Caitlin Clark minutes restriction. The girl says she's fine. The Indiana Fever up to their typical shady ways. Fans buying tickets with no idea what they are even walking into, who's playing, who's not playing. Is Caitlin free of minutes restriction? Is Caitlin only playing 15 minutes? Nobody knows.
And that's where the questions start piling up. Is this injury really as minor as the team is saying? Or are they managing something bigger, quietly, in public? Because this isn't the first physical incident Clark has dealt with this season. Not even close. In fact, just days before this injury update, something happened on the court that had nothing to do with basketball skill and everything to do with how hard some players are willing to hit her. It didn't just bruise Clark, it bruised the entire league's reputation. And that story is where things get a lot more serious.
The previous player guarding her, but not on the layup contact. I did not see that. Now, do I think she's officiated differently? Yes, I do. And that's unfortunate because that's what I want to know. Now, what are you doing, the WNBA? And Kathy Engelbert needs to talk to somebody. If she doesn't want to talk to me, talk to somebody so we can at least get a face attached to this that can give us what's the reasoning here? What's the logic here? Because something's there. I don't think anybody can sit here and go, that's nothing to see here. Why did the commissioner, according to Sports Business Journal, get involved?
Because while everyone was distracted by the back injury, the real story was what led up to it. Alyssa Thomas made contact with Caitlin Clark near her throat during a scramble for the ball. Video of the moment spread fast, and it didn't look like an accident to a lot of people watching. The league reviewed it, and this time, they didn't stay quiet. Thomas was hit with a suspension, not just a fine. An actual suspension, the kind that signals the league saw something they couldn't ignore anymore. But here's what made it bigger than one incident. This wasn't the first time Clark has taken a hard, unnecessary shot on the court this year. Fans have been counting, commentators have been counting, and every time it happens, the same question gets louder. Is the WNBA doing enough to protect its biggest star?
Logically, you would think, she plays the Sparks game, maybe misses the Mercury game, but no. How else is Stephanie White going to allow Caitlin Clark to get beat up if she misses the Mercury game? Caitlin Clark has to play the Mercury game because who on the Sparks is going to beat up Caitlin Clark? You know what I mean? Who on the Sparks is going to order the code red that Stephanie White has put in? Nobody. So she's gonna miss the Sparks. She's gonna play against the Mercury so she can get beat up and assaulted one more time by Alyssa Thomas, by DeWanna Bonner, by Natasha Mack. You guys get the point. By Ka Copper. You guys get the point.
Because Clark isn't just a player anymore. She's the reason cable numbers are breaking records. She's the reason casual fans are tuning in for the first time. And every hard foul that goes unpunished makes it look like the league is willing to risk its golden goose. This time, the punishment came, but the anger didn't stop there. It escalated into something nobody expected. Politicians got involved, and once Washington starts paying attention to your league, you know the story has stopped being just about basketball.
The criticism of WNBA officiating has now reached Capitol Hill. Think about that. Just days after Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark publicly called on the league to do a better job of protecting its players, a group of Republican lawmakers is demanding answers from WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. In a letter led by Representative August Pfluger, chairman of the Republican Study Committee and co-signed by a dozen members of Congress, including my guys here in Indiana, the group argued that the WNBA has failed to adequately protect its biggest stars' repeated unnecessary physical play.
A group of Republican lawmakers sent a direct warning to the WNBA commissioner. Their message was simple: clean up the physical treatment of Caitlin Clark or expect federal civil rights scrutiny. That is not a normal sentence to write about a basketball league. This wasn't some random post from a backbench politician either. This was an organized push, timed right after the Thomas suspension, aimed straight at league leadership, and it split the internet instantly. Supporters said it was about time someone held the league accountable. Critics said politicians were overstepping, turning a sports story into a political weapon. Then things got even messier. Clark started facing backlash of her own after public figures who support her, including Riley Gaines, waded into the conversation. Some critics went as far as calling her Confederate Clark.
The eye pokes, the throat jabs, the hip check, all of it to me looks like targeted violence.
Why would they be doing that? I mean, literally, she has brought the league from here to here.
You know, the WNBA hasn't really had to be concerned about marketing or ratings because they subsidize so much from the NBA. So I don't think it's much of a concern to the league itself, which I will say in regard to that. I don't think we have seen a league that is more committed to self-imploding than the WNBA, which doesn't make much sense.
Accusing her fan base of using her popularity to push an agenda that has nothing to do with basketball. Now Clark is stuck in the middle of something she never asked for. She just wants to play. But her name has become bigger than the sport itself, tangled up in politics, culture wars, and league accountability all at once. So with all this chaos swirling around her, you'd think the WNBA would want to bury her, keep her out of the spotlight. Instead, the league just did the exact opposite. The league picked Caitlin Clark as a starter for the 2026 WNBA All-Star Game, her third All-Star start, and she's not just playing in it, she's a team captain drafting her own squad for the game in Chicago on July 25th. Think about the timing here. In the middle of injury concerns, a suspension controversy, and a political firestorm, the WNBA put Clark front and center on one of its biggest stages of the year. Two of her own Fever teammates, Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, are starting right alongside her. Some fans saw this as the league trying to smooth things over, reminding everyone why Clark matters so much in the first place. Others saw it as simple and fair. She's averaging over 21 points and more than 8 assists a game this season. Star numbers, star treatment. But there's a deeper story hiding in this selection. All-Star games are usually about celebration. This one feels different. It feels like a spotlight the league needed to shine, right when Clark's story could have gone in a much darker direction. And that spotlight is about to get even brighter, because while critics keep arguing about fouls and politics and fairness, the actual numbers tell a story that nobody in the WNBA can afford to ignore. 1.04 million people. That's the average audience that tuned in to watch Caitlin Clark and the Fever take on the Los Angeles Sparks on a Wednesday night on cable at 10 p.m. Eastern. That is not a normal number for the WNBA. That is a historic first. Think about everything that happened around Clark this season. Injuries, a suspension controversy, Congress getting involved, a nickname turned into a political headline. Through all of it, none of it scared fans away. If anything, it pulled more people in. This is the part that critics keep missing. Every controversy, every hit, every headline about Clark somehow turns into more eyeballs on the WNBA. Love her or hate her, people are watching. And in television, watching is the only number that actually matters. So here's the real story underneath all 5 of these headlines. A player gets hurt, a rival gets suspended, politicians get involved. The league doubles down by making her an all-star captain. And ratings hit numbers this league has never seen before. Caitlin Clark isn't just surviving one of the messiest stretches of her career. She's making the entire league more valuable because of it. And that leaves one question every fan should be asking right now. What happens to the WNBA the day Caitlin Clark isn't at the center of the storm anymore?
I've got to be honest, the officials allowed her the moment to get the emotions out of her, and some officials wouldn't do that, especially with
quad. Like, that hurts. Like, the ref can't miss that. And then I have to play with a contusion in my leg the rest of the game. Like, it's ridiculous. Can't miss calls like that.
She marched at the referee, screaming, dropping F-bombs, and somehow walked away with 0 technical fouls. Caitlin Clark just had the worst night of her season, and she is not hiding how angry she is about it.
Valkyries demolishing the Fever tonight. By the way, very early on in the offseason, when free agency started and it became clear the Indiana Fever wasn't really going to do much. And then we had the draft. You had all of us in the creator community screaming, this is not a championship squad. They don't have the appropriate size. They don't have the appropriate length. They haven't addressed a lot of issues. Guys, this team is officially 14-10.
Wednesday night, in her first game back from a back injury, Clark shot 4 for 14 from the field, 1 for 8 from 3, a season low, and when the whistle didn't blow on a hard foul that left her limping, she completely lost it. But the stat line wasn't even the real story. What Caitlin Clark did after the final buzzer is what has the entire WNBA world talking right now.
The fallout last night, the knee to the quad heard around the world, the crash out experienced around the world. We got video of the other part of a situation where Caitlin Clark came off the court and she was pissed off that she was being pulled out of the game. And very interesting.
Let's set the scene. Clark had been out over a week with a re-aggravated back injury. Coach Stephanie White confirmed it herself. So when Clark got upgraded to available on Wednesday, everyone knew she wasn't at full strength. Reports had her on a minutes restriction somewhere around 25, and the opponent waiting for her was brutal timing. The Golden State Valkyries, a second-year franchise, walked in having won 7 straight games. This was a statement game for both sides. The first quarter, Clark looked rusty. Nobody panics over one rusty quarter, not for her, but then the second quarter happened, and that's when the whole night flipped. Clark drove hard to the rim for a layup. Kaya Stokes met her at the basket. Contact. Clark hit the floor. The basket counted, but there was no foul call, and Clark did not take it well. The ref can't miss that, Clark said afterward. She hit me right in the quad. It hurts, and then I have to play with a contusion on my leg the rest of the game.
With Stokes that made you upset, and then you hopped into the back.
That hurts. Like, the ref can't miss that, and then I have to play with a contusion in my leg the rest of the game. Like, it's ridiculous. Can't miss calls like that.
That's when things stopped being about basketball. Clark went straight at the official, not a quiet word. A full sprint toward her, yelling from point-blank range. Multiple reports say she dropped F-bombs, arguing that the Fever weren't getting the same whistle Golden State was getting all night.
It was on and popping in this game.
Make a move to try to keep Burton off.
Caitlin crashed out on the refs. Right here. Right here. She lost it. And you could tell at one point in the game, later after this, she got pulled out of the game, and I think she slammed the table on the way out of the game. But this is another look at this, real close.
I've got to be honest, the officials allowed.
She said, F. I've been fouled 5 effing times. Give me a effing call.
Somehow, no technical foul. The ref let it go. But everyone in that arena saw exactly how heated it got. And here's the part that makes this worse. When the referee reportedly told Clark she initiated the contact, Clark shot back immediately. Which is fine, she said, but you can't knee me in the leg. Knock me over.
Did they give you an explanation right after when you...
She said I initiated the contact. Which is fine. You can't knee me in the leg. Knock me over.
You'd think that would be the emotional peak of the night. It wasn't. Because after that blow-up, Clark's shooting night completely fell apart. She finished 4 for 14 from the field, 1 for 8 from deep. A season worst. 5 turnovers, a team high. And for the first time all year, Clark posted a negative plus-minus. Not once all season had that happen until Wednesday night in the same game she was screaming at officials.
Caitlin Clark is not happy. Caitlin Clark absolutely slammed Stephanie White for continuing to sub her out. She's sick and tired of Stephanie White's sabotage. She's sick and tired of this BS minutes restriction, which I believe is a stats limit. They are trying to limit what she can do in the statistical category. Caitlin Clark absolutely let Stephanie White have it, along with the referees, man. She is sick and tired of this nonsense. And it's just starting to blow over, man. It's too much now.
Probably the best defensive team in the league. They're really good at that. They do what they do. And I had some good looks that didn't go down, and then, you know, I shot some tougher looks too. But, you know, I thought I finally kind of played with a little bit more pace and a little bit more burst, especially down the stretch in the fourth. But hopefully I don't have to keep playing 25 minutes.
Hopefully I don't have to keep playing 25 minutes. I played 10 minutes in the first half. I can't get no damn rhythm. Stephanie White, can you stop playing games now?
The Fever lost 88-75, Golden State's 8th straight win, with Gabby Williams dropping 16 and Caitlin Chen adding 14 off the bench. A promising young franchise looking more and more like a real threat. But that still wasn't the moment that had people talking the most. After the game, Caitlin Clark did something she almost never does. She declined to speak to the media. Completely. No podium, no quotes, nothing. Think about that for a second. This is a player who talks after wins, after losses, after controversy, after everything. She's been one of the most available superstars in the league. And on the one night where she was hurt, frustrated, and clearly furious at the officiating, she said nothing at all. That silence tells you more than any quote could. This wasn't just a bad shooting night. It was a body that isn't fully healed, colliding with a coaching staff trying to manage her minutes, colliding with officiating that fans have questioned for her all season long, colliding with a superstar whose patience looks like it's finally running thin. This isn't the first time this year people have argued the referees are missing calls on Clark, but Wednesday was the loudest, most visible explosion of that frustration yet. And walking away from the media afterward makes it feel like more than just one bad night. So here's where it stands. Caitlin Clark is banged up. She's furious at the officiating, and she just had the worst shooting performance of her season. And for the first time all year, she didn't want to talk about it. With the Fever chasing a playoff push, that combination is worth watching closely. What do you think?
What if I was to tell you Alyssa Thomas had another assault against the Indiana Fever on another basketball player in another basketball game?
Lexi Hull was left on the floor holding her face, blood coming from her nose, a towel pressed against the damage, and somehow she was the player called for the foul. The contact came from Alyssa Thomas, the same player recently suspended after making contact with Caitlin Clark's throat.
I'm here to tell you, it very much did happen. And the Pacific player that was hit in the nose and started bleeding in the nose was Lexi Hall. Lexi Hall took a vicious elbow to the face from none other than the I'm gonna have to call her a serial abuser, puncher, choker, Alyssa Thomas. At this point, she has to be suspended. And I'm telling you right now, after I make this video, this thing is gonna grow legs like a tarantula giving birth.
Then, while Hull received medical attention, cameras appeared to show Thomas smiling and laughing near the free throw line. Nobody can say for certain what she was laughing about, but the image immediately exploded online because Fever fans were asking one uncomfortable question. How does Alyssa Thomas keep ending up at the center of these incidents against Indiana players? And why does it always feel like the injured player is the one being punished?
Now watch this play here. Boom. Did she laugh? She pointed at her. Looked like she might have pointed at Lexi Hall. What the hell? Let's get back to this article, man. So these are some of the photos here of the incident. So as you guys can see here, she's elbowing Lexi Hall in the face. This is Lexi Hall here. And she laughed. I knew she laughed. She's laughing about assaulting Lexi Hall.
The incident happened during another physical battle between the Indiana Fever and Phoenix Mercury. Caitlin Clark was not playing, which meant Indiana needed even more from Lexi Hull. Hull has built her reputation on effort. She defends hard, attacks loose balls, and throws herself into plays that other players might avoid. But during the third quarter, that effort left her bleeding. A loose ball bounced near the paint. Thomas collected it and moved toward the basket while Hull stepped into the play defensively. As Thomas gathered the ball, her elbow connected directly with Hull's nose. Hull immediately dropped to the court. The replay showed clear contact to the face. She stayed down before eventually reaching the bench, where she pressed a towel against her nose and checked for blood.
Now, this was the incident with her and Caitlin Clark a few weeks ago. Now, this happened on June the 24th. Now, this was Lexi Hall last night. You tell me if anything is wrong with Alyssa Thomas. Tell me. You tell me, and you be the judge. The article goes on to say, while some believe it to be a simple basketball play, others slam Thomas for yet more violence against Indiana players.
But the officials called the foul on Hull. Think about that. Hull was sitting on the floor after taking an elbow to the face, while Thomas was preparing to shoot free throws. It was the exact type of moment that has made Fever fans increasingly frustrated with WNBA officiating. There is the play everyone can see on the replay. Then there is the decision made by the officials. Now, it is important to be fair. There is no clear proof that Thomas intentionally tried to elbow Hull. Basketball moves quickly. Players collide, arms swing, and accidents happen inside the paint. Thomas appeared to be making a basketball move toward the basket, but intent is not the only issue. Control also matters. Thomas is one of the strongest and most physical players in the league. When she attacks through traffic with her elbows high, there is always a risk that someone will get hit. Hull got hit directly in the face, yet she was still called for the foul. That is why the incident became about more than one accidental collision. The reaction afterward made everything even worse. As Hull received treatment, Thomas appeared to be smiling and laughing near the free throw line. Again, nobody outside that conversation knows what she was laughing about. It could have been completely unrelated, but the optics were terrible. Hull was holding a towel against her bleeding nose, while Thomas appeared relaxed only a few feet away. After everything that happened in the previous Fever and Mercury game, fans were never going to ignore that image, because this incident did not happen in isolation. Only weeks earlier, Thomas was involved in one of the season's most controversial moments when she made contact with Caitlin Clark's throat during a battle for the ball. The officials did not punish Thomas during the game, but after reviewing the footage, the league upgraded the play to a flagrant foul 2 and suspended her for 1 game. Clark also left that game with a back injury, while Fever coach Stephanie White publicly criticized the amount of physical contact being allowed against her players. So when Thomas's elbow connected with Hull's nose, fans were not reacting to only one play. They were reacting to what they believe is becoming a pattern.
Tell me. You tell me, and you be the judge. The article goes on to say, while some believe it to be a simple basketball play, others slam Thomas for yet more violence against Indiana players. The intense reactions was made worse by TV capturing Thomas' appearance to laugh just seconds later. I guess Alyssa Thomas found it funny that she almost broke Lexi Hall's nose. One fan wrote on X, another added, she needs to be dealt with the way she deserves. She's intentionally trying to hurt other players. She needs to be checked out by a psychiatrist. I told y'all, man, she needs some type of counseling or something. She's a very violent lady.
First, Clark was hit near the throat. Then the league punished Thomas only after the game. Now, another Fever player was left bleeding after contact from the same opponent. And somehow, Hull was the one charged with the foul. That does not automatically make the elbow intentional, but it explains why the clip spread so quickly. Indiana has reached a point where every physical incident feels bigger than the last one. Every collision is replayed. Every missed call becomes another example for fans who believe the Fever are not being protected. The incredible part is that Indiana did not allow the incident to destroy them. Phoenix controlled large sections of the game and built a second-half advantage, but the Fever fought back. Kelsey Mitchell took control offensively. Aaliyah Boston battled inside. Sophie Cunningham made important plays late. and Indiana escaped with a 92-89 victory. That result matters. The Fever were playing without Clark. They had played the previous night. Hull was struck in the face. Phoenix led during the second half, but Indiana still found a way to win. However, the final score was almost overshadowed by the image of Hull sitting on the bench with a towel pressed against her bloody nose. Because this rivalry is no longer only about basketball. Every game carries history. Every hard foul creates suspicion, and every questionable decision adds more pressure to the officials. Nobody is asking the league to remove physical basketball. Fans want intensity. They want rivalries. They want players competing hard. But there must be a line between physical defense and reckless contact. When one player takes an elbow to the face, ends up bleeding, and is still called for the foul, something feels completely backwards. Maybe it was simply an unfortunate basketball collision, but after the previous incident involving Caitlin Clark, Alyssa Thomas is developing a reputation that may become extremely difficult to escape. Was the elbow accidental? Was it reckless? And did the officials get the call completely wrong? Let me know what you saw in the replay.